What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be taking a look at a game that's an absolute banger, actually. This is one of those games that I actually missed out on the early access release because I had previously covered the title when it was in demo form, but now it's been worked on for a good long time. We're going to be taking a look at it. It's a little title called Gatekeeper, and it's a game where you're trying to make your character as OP as humanly possible. So, if after watching this you wanted to get access to the early access, the game is currently like $10. I think it's like $11.50 or $12. I'll just call it 10 though, because that kind of rounds out. And it's got a lot of content, it's got a lot of quality control, it's got a lot of things going on, and if you're a fan of anything like a Diablo-style game, or you're a fan of anything that might be like Vampire Survivors crossed with Risk of Rain, I think you're going to have a really good time with this game. So for the next 25 minutes, we're going to be playing the game, checking it out, seeing if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list, or if it's one of those games you would rather not play for yourself. I got a link for you down below in the description. You can check that on out, but let's dive straight on in. So as previously mentioned, this is a game that is a direct chip off the old block of something like Risk of Rain 2. The main change here being that they've taken the game, they've stopped making it into a third-person game, and it's been converted into an isometric version of the game that you know and love. It's also got some twists and turns inside of here, but the rough idea is that on every single map, you're going to cruise on through with your character, you're going to kill a whole bunch of mobs. Every single enemy that you kill is going to give you a cash infusion. You're going to take that cash infusion to various shrines, just like in Risk of Rain, to buy yourself new upgrades and new things that make your character stronger. However, there are a number of twists here that are going to change things around, so the developers have rightfully noticed the similarities between a game like Vampire Survivors and a game like Risk of Rain. There's a lot of enemies, you're chugging through, firing bullets at a lot of them. Don't worry about the orange stuff on the ground. I'm gonna stay well away from it. Like, I'm just gonna decide not to get hit by the explosions going off. However, as I was saying, the mixture here is to the tune of something like Evolutions. So there's a million billion little relics in this game, just like you would experience in other titles. However, when you combine those relics in certain ways, a la something like the League of Legends auto chess, or something like Vampire Survivors. Sorry, this is a really hard game to do any kind of commentary on while I'm actually playing it, because we're playing at a higher level right now, so there's lots of things going on, there's lots of enemies that I'm trying to dodge, but your Risk of Rain style relics can be combined into super abilities that blow up the entire screen. So as an example of one of those evolutions, you can see this big ring around my feet right now. That ring is basically garlic from Vampire Survivors. It damages anything that's on the inside of it. But on top of that, I also light off explosions when I'm hitting other enemies, just due to the fact that I'm combining my relics and getting those things all done. Making the game further addictive is the fact that there are loads and loads of achievements for characters, for levels, for boss kills, for things that you can do, that then unlock other batches of 5 to 6 relics that get added on into the greater pool, which then gives you more combos and more things that you can combine and more synergies to play around with. It really well and truly is quite addictive. I know that's a word that gets thrown around a lot in gaming. I'm guilty of it too. However, this game has a quality to it that will keep you playing it late on into the night, especially if you've got like a banger of a run going on where everything is just going right and everything is dying instantaneously. The moment that it enters the screen, there's a lot to like here. This is one of those games that I've really enjoyed. To further decorate that cake, it's also a game with really good sound effects, a really hardcore sort of synthwave soundtrack that pumps and throbs. It's got lots of wom-woms in there. And so as you're playing on through it, it's a game that's very easy to slide into sort of... I'm a runner. I don't know how many of you guys know that about me, but I am a distance runner. It's one of my longest held hobbies. I like to run, and so I tend to, every other day, run about 5 miles. And then on the in-between days, I'm a weightlifter. I like to work out and do that sort of thing. But in the world of running, there's this idea called the runner's trance. And it's where you are so engulfed with your run that you're getting lost inside your own head, which makes it really easy for time to pass because you're not really paying attention to the fact that you're running. You're sucked up in the sound of your feet hitting the pavement and the movement of the cars and the trains and the trees and everything around you, and that makes it really easy to bypass the time. This game has that fundamental quality where it's very, very easy to get sucked into the title. So right now, I'm playing the game's equivalent of the Commando. A lot of the characters in this game do share a large amount of overlap with Risk of Rain. You can find that influence all over the place. This game does have a lot of shared abilities in there. However, there are other abilities that make the game distinct from its other competition. Still, if you've played Risk of Rain 2 and you don't mind the loss of a third dimension, this is one of those games that you will instantaneously recognize a lot of the abilities. I do think they could diversify that a little bit, but in fact they have, because characters in this game level up a la an action RPG, so you can no doubt see that there's a meter at the bottom of the screen that's filling up as I'm slaughtering enemies and murdering things all around me. Every single time that gets up to the top, you get a thing called an evolution, which is a level up that will give you 2 to 3 choices. I guess it gives you 3 every single time. I don't know why I said 2 to 3. But it'll give you 3 choices how you want to expand your character in a passive sense. And then every 4 or 5 levels, it'll allow you to evolve one of your abilities. My character has 4 of them. So you have a left-click ability, that's the machine gun that you see me firing. I've got a right-click ability, which is basically a missile launcher that explodes and deals AoE damage and lights all the enemies on fire. I've got my F ability, which throws out a discus right there that bounces in between all of the foes on the battlefield, dealing repeated damage to them. And then I've also got a dash right there. Some characters actually do not have a dash. Their dash is replaced with a active ability, but I found that I find it really, really hard to survive when I play the characters that don't have a dash. Ow, I'm taking damage right now. Why am I taking damage right now? I'm taking some pretty serious poison damage at the moment, and I don't know exactly where it's coming from. It might be this tile that I'm standing on. Nope, it's not that. So every single level, as previously mentioned, we need to summon a boss. The game is going to give you a loose confederation of tasks that you need to do on the map before you can leave. So in this case, in order to summon the boss, I have to stand on a bunch of red circles until they fill up to 100% while enemies are rushing me. Those are denoted in their location, not on the map, but instead by the ley lines that are running all over the map. This is going to be a little bit too hot for me to stand on it right now. I need to kill off some enemies and get a little bit of clearance, otherwise this is just not going to be a great play. I think our damage could afford to go up too, so I'll probably spend some of my level ups momentarily in order to make myself hit a little bit harder, or maybe a little bit more robust. This is a game that as you get further on into it, the enemies are going to get more and more mods that make them stronger, so I've had mods that make it so like every single enemy poisons you when they hit you. That's a big problem. I had a mod on one of my runs where there's landmines like all over the place, which makes your traversal and navigation more difficult, and that ties back into a risk versus reward system called apotheosis. By taking apotheosis, you can unlock a new character. However, there is a cast of, I didn't count them, it's like 7 or 8 characters. When I die, I'll go ahead and splice it back on in so that we can see exactly how many characters can be unlocked. So far, I found all of the characters to be satisfying in their own way. Some characters are much more reliant on run luck, meaning you get certain items to come up that synergize really, really well with them. Other characters, like the one I'm playing right now, have a baseline level of competence using just about everything on the battlefield, and so it really depends on what you want to play this time around and what kind of theming and what kind of style you want. For instance, I really, really like the Treasure Hunter. There's a character called the Treasure Hunter who has a shotgun and orbital strikes. He's basically like an engineer. He's got lots and lots of technologically based abilities. However, he's also got an ability that makes free relics spawn all over the map because he's a treasure hunter, and he can just find those around. They're not really like marked or anything from what I recall playing them once or twice, but it is a nice little bonus whenever you stumble across them. I think we've got all the ley lines nice and sealed right now, so I think we can go back and we can open up the boss portal. So I'm going to cruise on over there. Actually, let's do our level ups real fast. So I've got some movement speed. I'll take that. We've got an upgrade to one of our abilities. It gives us a 50% chance to fire an extra disc when we use our ultimate. I like that. I'll take attack speed right there, and I'll take 10% more damage right there. And that should give us a little bit more wump to go along with what it is that we're trying to do. I would love for this boss to be spawned in so I can start getting some DPS off before more mobs arrive. I'm going to launch both my specials right there just to get some bouncy ball damage going off, and we've already killed the boss. that may be one of my fastest boss kills of all time, and I would be lying if I told you that I didn't specifically decide to feature this run, because it seems to be going swimmingly. But don't get overly excited, this game does share a bone with something like Path of Exile, in the respect that you can get yourself instantly one-shot if you ever stop moving, so be careful about it. We get a special ability right here, a Swarm Pendant is what I'm going to take, because for whatever reason, when you're inside of a menu in this game, I'm guessing it's because the game is rigged for co-op, whenever you're inside of a menu, enemies are still moving at like 10% speed, and so I couldn't really explain what I just got to you right there. But what I got was a pendant that makes it so every time I kill an enemy, there's a chance that I spawn a little spider drone, and it's a little suicide bomber that runs at them and detonates and does a little AoE. I think it'll play nicely into what we've got going on already. In between each level, it's going to bring you back. It's going to show you a collection of things that you can buy inside of a shop. I would recommend that you go through them carefully. I want a red energy drink because that's 10% more damage. I want a yellow energy drink because that's 10% more attack speed. And then we do have a big ring around us, so I think I'll take Argument because that's what this ring is right here. I've got the evolved version of Argument, but it's still good. These bullets right here will be helpful. Gives us a 5% chance per stack every single time we hit an enemy to launch an extra bullet. I've got 8 of them stacked up now, so that's a 40% chance for that projectile. Essence right here is really, really nice, but I need to have 3600. It's the ability that you're seeing that launches kind of a woom wave in front of me. It's almost like a blade cleave that goes forward out of my character and hits everything in a line. I like to get that up to 10 or 15 stacks if I can so that it's going off almost every single shot, but it may not be available to us, so I'll just take a blue energy drink and get 15% more movement speed. Inside your base there will be a forge. Oh my god, that charged core is so good. So what this does is this is a super relic that makes it so that my ultimate ability gets an additional charge that will charge up over time, so I can throw this more and more times, blowing up the entire screen. This will allow you to sacrifice relics that you have in order to gain these little pips down here. Every 30 that we melt down will give us one of these, and it's pretty good. I don't really care about HVC, so I'll get rid of that. I don't particularly care about Triumph, so I'll get rid of that. And I think we're at max stacks right now, so we've got something really, really good going on. If you wanted to see the system inside the base that allows us to combine things, here it is right here. As you unlock relics, if you can get them all inside your inventory, you can combine them into a thing called a triad. You can have 3 triads, so you can have 3 evolutions running at any given time, but we don't really have anything to unlock right now, so I'm just going to throw myself back into a level and we will cut on into it. But yeah, my thoughts about this game are actually pretty sterling. If you don't mind the fact that there's a lot of ability overlap here with Risk of Rain 2, this is a shockingly tight, very polished game that has a ton of content. I've been playing all day, and so I started playing around 9 or 10 o'clock this morning, and it's now 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and I haven't been able to put it down. Sometimes when I'm doing recon for games, it's not a game for me, but it's definitely a game for someone in terms of quality control, and so it feels almost like I'm kind of playing, just looking for things that I can bring up in the video to get the time done so that I can say I played the game enough in order to recommend it or not recommend it to whoever the target demographic of that game might be. That is not the case with this game. This is a game that I have thoroughly enjoyed playing all the way through, and it is definitely the kind of game for me. It's one of those games that keeps you on your toes. It is very stimulating, especially if you've got ADHD brain like I do, and so it's one of those games that keeps your eyes locked to the screen. You can feel yourself kind of rocking in your chair to the music and getting into it. I put on a podcast for a little while and just kind of listened to that while I was sort of obsessively mulching bad guys. Ooh, I got slowed. That's super bad for me because I'm super squishy because I have favored mostly attack stats in order to get the things done that I want to get done. Let me grab this shrine over here if I can stop getting shot at for a second. I will take the Jade, which makes me regenerate a little bit faster. I had to look at that one really, really quickly. I would recommend that when you're playing in single player, they make it so the game pauses while you're looking at menus and items so that you can parse on through them. I can see why that system is there if you were playing single player. Or, I'm sorry, if you were playing multiplayer, it's because like your friends are supposed to be watching your back. But I'm just going to throw out a discus right there. And I'm going to grab that. It gave me a nomad stick, which is yet another ability that gives me a chance to get another bullet whenever I shoot an enemy, so that'll be nice to get. I'd like to get my attack speed up to like 200% or so too. That's going to activate right there. And then what we've got to do for this particular challenge is that all over the map, there's going to be little orange boxes that I need to interact with. Inside those little orange boxes, like this guy right here, there will be keys. I've got to take those keys to like these obelisks, and I've got to drop them off. That way I can unlock the boss terminal so that I can summon him. I really want to pick up some of these bonuses, but unfortunately I'm just getting completely and totally glomped by mobs right now. Oh my god, we almost... Oh, I stepped on the mine, we're dead. Well, that super sucks. That was a really good run that I had going. Like I said, one-shots happen in this game. I don't think I had the DPS where I needed it to be in order to go through there, unfortunately. So that's called life, but we can go back and we can take a look at some of the other options that you can play around inside Gatekeeper. So in Gatekeeper, it looks like there's 7 guys you can play as right now. This guy's kind of an all-arounder. Haven't played this guy yet because I don't like melee characters, and so it made it seem like he's a melee character, so I doubt I'm ever going to play him in all honesty because I just don't see I could make melee work in this game. I like shooting. This lady right here has kind of a bouncy ball mechanic, so his ultimate is basically the whole thing that she's based around, where there's a chance for her projectiles to bounce around and it turns into this ridiculous grid of exploding ice cream balls all over the place. She can also lock down entire areas because she's the AoE character, so she's got kind of like a special beam cannon that she does that melts a bunch of enemies in a line in front of you. She can also put down a giant circle of lightning that does a terrifying amount of damage to anything inside of it, and you can kind of camp inside of it. If you time it right, her dash leaves an AoE heal on the ground that's good for co-op play, but also good for single-player play. I've played this guy. This is the tech hunter, the treasure hunter that I was talking about, so I already explained him to you. And then we just unlocked the mediator. So it looks like the mediator has crazy slow attack speed, but everything he does kind of chains enemies together, and then you can detonate it to blow everybody up. So that sounds kind of interesting, and I like his graphical styling. This is the Emporium. As you kill important bosses and elites, you'll get the Orbs of Creation. Orbs of Creation will, in combination with completing achievements, allow you to unlock new relics, and boy, there are a bunch of them. There's a lot of things to unlock here, and since the game is in early access, I think we can only presume that there's going to be even more that's going to be unlocked with time. I like the Opal Eye, because that just gives me flat damage, so I'll take that. Greed's Gambit has a 3% chance of a random modifier dropping from a killed enemy, but anytime you pick up an artifact, you lose 50% of your maximum health. Oof. We got the Rend Stone over here on hit, has a 5% chance to inflict splitting on an enemy. I don't know exactly what splitting means, but maybe it'll be something good. We also have the Source. Your third skill gains an additional charge, so that would be your dodge for all characters that I've seen. And then the Rift Maker has a chance to create a vacuum that will kill all enemies inside of it. Well, that just sounds great for Horde Clear. So let's dive on in for another run. I'll put it on private real quick, and I want to try out the new character that I haven't played yet. So let's give him a go. We've got our map seed up there just in case you get a really good seed that you wanted to show to one of your friends or anything else like that. You can copy and paste it and send it to him. How bad is this guy's auto attack going to be? Oh, it's not that bad. I think I can speed that up into something. It is a little more difficult because we've got to aim it, but it does have an AoE component to it. Alright, so what's my right click do? My right click, it's Pain Conduit. Cast a curse on an enemy. You do 80% more damage within a radius of 11 units. Okay, so we'll have to try that out just to see what happens. I'm guessing it makes... Oh, it looks like it gives it extra little fireballs. Okay. I can dig that, so we got to be a little bit tactical about how we deploy this guy. Let's get some money together. You may have noticed that the beginning of the game is much slower than what I was showing you. So if you were worried the entire game was going to be as frenetic as the gameplay that you were seeing for the first 15 minutes or so, no. The game starts out very, very slowly, which is in fact why I omitted it. It's not particularly interesting to look at for the opening of a video, and then it's going to take you easily. There is a bit of run investment in this game, where getting to the good part of a run typically takes about 20 or 25 minutes, and up until then you're just a slow guy kind of hovering around the field, doing the best that you can to avoid enemy smiting. Oh my goodness gracious, a ward summons meteor showers. That's a problem, considering very, very shortly I need to stand stationary in the middle of a couple of rings, and so that's going to be a bit of a problem. It looks like our first area is probably over this way somewhere, but it's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, there's our ley line right there, so we'll give that a go before the enemies start to spawn. Give me a curse on him. Yeah, it looks like it splashes the damage around to everybody in the area when you hit him, so that's kind of nice. We are going to desperately need some attack speed here, but this first level is kind of escalated faster than I expected. What does this do? So my F key harvests souls from enemies within a radius of 25, and you have souls splashing around that I guess deal damage to enemies or something. I don't know. There wasn't like a crazy visual effect right there that I could really clock for what it was trying to do. We could use a couple of pickups right now to make us not only faster, but a little bit stronger. So I think I'm going to focus on that. Let me go invisible real quick, although we are slow as hell while we're invisible. So definitely some movement speed and attack speed upgrades to be desired here. Enemies with less than 40% HP get 30% more damage, and that's stacking, so that'll be nice. I'm going to grab this relic over here too. Give me the good stuff. I will take HVAC, I guess, because that gives us a chance to get bouncing chain lightning whenever we hit an enemy. Let's go ahead and light him up real fast. We got the curse on him. And we got a level up right there. I'm going to wait to spend my level ups till we get out of here. I'm a little bit worried about my safety right now. I also need to go touch base at the center of the map and figure out what we've got going on over there. So it looks like we've got another ley line going out this way. So let's go take a look at that. Hopefully the line doesn't dive underneath the ground or anything while I'm on my way over here. We kind of need to outrun a lot of these guys, and I would love to not be surrounded. I'm going to light off my super, and hopefully that does something for me. Kind of hard to say, though. I think I need to get used to using my right click a little more effectively. We've got some serious fixing to do with this character, I think, before he's going to be a suitable killer. We'll put that in right there. That seems like it detonated a couple of them. I'm still having trouble figuring out exactly what my F key is doing right now. There's not really a spell effect or anything to go along with it. It says that I harvest souls. Huh. Well, maybe it's like draining life or something. Let's get Triumph, because that makes our next hit after a kill deal 50% more damage, which is good for us because we've got a slow, hard-hitting thing that benefits from being inside of a giant AoE radius. And so, like, I think that kind of helps us out. I don't know if it's going to stack up the hits like I want it to, but it might. They're throwing rocks and all kinds of things at me right now. Level ups, I need, where's my shrine at? It's right here. I need this shrine. Give me the shrine. I will take another stack of chain lightning, because why not? Any bit of supplementary damage or attack while we're doing this is going to be appreciated. And I can already see it splashing around, so I think that'll work out. We've also got another ley line going down this way. I'm going to try to grab every altar on the map before we leave here and fight the boss, but it is going to be a slow process. Give me that shrine right there. I will take regeneration, because why not? A little bit of HP would be good. As of right now, I'm not really working towards any kind of particular build or anything else, because I haven't really gotten any of the keystone things that I'm looking for in order to make this function. If we can get this spun up to like machine gun levels so that our gun is going thunk, 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 I could see this guy being a big liability for all enemies in the area. Go ahead and detonate them. I'm trying to not get hit by meteors. That's a really annoying shrine to get on the first level. I'll be square with you. That's a real rough one. Hit the tree, unfortunately. Good stuff. Kill off a few more of them. I think there's like one more relic on the map that I could potentially go and grab, but it may be in our best interest just to evolve. So I'll take movement speed, I'll take damage, and I'll take movement speed. There we go. Now I can navigate the map a little more effectively, but I think we are going to need 70 or 80% movement speed to really get this guy out of the doldrums of how slow he is, because he is slow. We'll grab that, and I will take I guess another chain lightning. I don't know. Enemies do have collision in this game, so watch out for it. I have been corner trapped to death by faster moving enemies that like push up inside your hitbox and just smear you against a wall, and you can't get out if your dodge isn't on cooldown. So it's a thing that can happen. Let's get this guy summoned. We're gonna try to curse him over everybody else. If we can't, oh no, my curse didn't work. Okay, he's shooting fireballs all over the place. Now, due to the slower nature of my shots here, getting him lined up with some hits may actually be a little bit of a headache, but he is marked now, which means that in hitting him, I should be able to do something here. I got trapped. Let's go ahead and move up and around, and I'm gonna just spacebar to get some HP back. While I don't regenerate in stealth. Okay, that's a problem. Well, then I'm just gonna have to cruise around for a minute and try to get my health back. All right, I got a lucky level up, so that'll be fine. Let's see if we can put a little bit of heat on this dude while avoiding fireballs, which I think are what shredded me last time. Hitboxes in the game seem to be reasonably precise. I haven't seen anything so far that upsets me about the hitboxes, so everything's good there. I've been able to snake my way in between a couple of shots when required that in other less refined games I definitely would have gotten hit by. There we go. So now we've got the boss down. We just got to grab his super relic and hope that it's something good for us. On killing an enemy, there's a chance to get a vacuum. Okay, I'll take that. The insta-kill vacuum sounds nice to me. Let's go back to base, see if we can get a few things to kind of round this guy out, because he obviously starts out sort of wizard style in D&D where he's a little bit weak. He needs a bunch of level ups in order to make himself effective. So we've got an ability upgrade. We gain an aura that deals 50% damage. Okay, I'll take it. Why not? I don't know if I want movement speed or attack speed. I feel like movement speed is still our main problem. I can't get away from enemies, and so I'm going to go for that. I'll take the red energy drink to get some more damage. I will take... He does have a charged core, which lets me cast Harvest twice, but as of yet... Maybe I'll get another charge of it. It doesn't really have a graphic that pops off the screen, though, and lets you know what's going on. Anything inside that radius takes more damage, by the way, and so that'll be a good spot to be in. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day, so you don't have to. My first impressions of this game are that it's good. It's really solid. There's some overlap here with Risk of Rain 2, and I think I still like Risk of Rain 2 better just because it has a third dimension involved, which opens up sort of traversal relics like the Hoppo Feather and whatnot to get around. Like I remember doing a build with Hoppo Feathers where I could just fly through the sky forever without ever having to come down and just like shooting down on enemies and whatnot, which was a really, really cool thing that's added by having a third dimension. But there are some fun twists here. There are some nice hybridization of ideas that exist inside of other games, and I found the game to be particularly addicting. Everything sounds good, everything looks good. All of the spells so far seem pretty rock solid. The only character that I saw that I haven't really fooled around with is the warrior guy, because I haven't even taken him for a test spin because I thought he was holding a sword. And I was like, nah, man, I'm trying to daka, like cut people down with gunfire all day. But I haven't really noticed anything too wild and crazy with this one. Like sometimes along the edges of the screen, and I tested this on multiple monitors, there's almost like a fisheye effect that kind of happens, but I haven't played around with the graphics to see if I can get rid of it. It doesn't save runs, so you have to finish your run. It's kind of the same thing. I mean, it's happened in other games. You got to do your whole run, otherwise you just kind of keep your meta currency and you have to start over from the beginning when you turn the game back on. It would be nice to be able to stop a run whenever you go back to the village right there and then be able to load that up so that you could play a little bit later. But other than that, that's about it for suggestions. If you're into anything like Risk of Rain, you're going to have a great time with this title. It is in early access, so it's not done yet, so it's still got plenty of time to add more patches and further diversify from the competition. But as of right now, I think the game is pretty fun. I enjoyed it. See y'all later.